Hey everybody, good morning. It's 10:25 on Saturday, my favorite day of the week. What a great week it was. I did not feel well yesterday though. Something was off. But then I did play ultimate frisbee and I performed very well and my body just really held up for me. And I actually normally will take some supplements that help me with performance. Just generally, just basic stuff. And I had totally forgot to do that. And that stuff does make a huge difference. But yeah, so I didn't take any of my supplements or anything. I went out, I played really well, and then I was really happy with that. So I'm waiting for my unit test to come up. I'm hoping this won't have to be a very long video today and that I'll be able to do unit tests. Now, the last time the unit test ran, they did generate a report. And this report, I'm very, very close to having 100% test coverage on this. It is funny. I think about this all the time. So I've worked at a lot of places where we had to have like 85% test coverage. And like basically what happens is you end up with just a series of untestable things, sort of habits within the organization, and then those just kind of get slid in the 15%. So I guess that would make sense. Like if you were really you were really into it, you were an architect, and you said, "Hey, I want 85% test coverage," because then that's probably would be actually a great way to determine if you where bad code, where code that is likely to be problematic and needs like special architectural attention. Um, yeah, never really thought about it that way, but I could see that being a thing. All right, so we have. It looks like we only have two files that have issues now. We have this layouts entity filter, which is a component, and we have a service, but it's a component service. Um, so I guess we'll start. I guess let's start here. So we got 7 statements uncovered, 7 lines of code. So we got this. It's kind of and two that aren't. Okay, so I know we did a transform. Thought we did a transform. Let's see, unit tests. Now it wasn't in this service when we did it. Maybe yesterday, because yesterday I remember I was searching and now publish filter change. It doesn't surprise me that we don't have one for that because we wouldn't have needed to publish the filter change before because the component where the filter was in the same component as the component, so that the that was using the filter. So we didn't need it, but I think so. Publish probably doesn't have anything, but it should be super simple to test. See, that's weird. Oh, there we go. Here's our test. I was like, I know we must have had a test for this already. I don't even know what this does. I'm just going to copy it and hope. See, this was probably kind of the equivalent to this publish thing. So I'm copying this, and then I'm coming over here, and I'm going to click this guy up here. So it brings up that, and then it brings this the service focus that I was working on, and now I have this, and then let's see what happens. First of all, there is no component. I'm guessing this is calling the component, so we know that this unit test is not going to work out of the bag. So now we have to engage a little bit, and I'm thinking out loud here. I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I have to engage in this at this point. I was hoping to just be able to lift and shift and just copy it over and just watch that go up and never really think into it because I don't know that it's worth a cognizant, adding some cognizant load to figure that out. But it is worth it. If it's not going to work, then we have to go in. I think we can just rename this service. Service. So we saw a movie last week. Really liked it. Can't remember what it was now. I think it was a nice wholesome. Oh, it was The Sheep Detectives. That was very good. We enjoyed it. I think we're probably going to go see a movie this week too. We have our granddaughter with us. Lucky grandparents. We got our granddaughter with us, so we'll probably go see. She's only like she's less than a year old, so she'll enjoy the movie, but she won't do it. But we'll probably see Mario Brothers. So that'll be good. I feel like that was improvement, but I don't know. I should have paid closer attention to our numbers. Ooh, there we go. 100% of our branches, 75% of our thing. We have 2 lines of code and 2 statements. But there's 3 things here. And I guess this is for the one function. So we just need to call it with a filter, with a value, and it returns true. So that's super simple. It's nice. And again, one thing I'm trying to do is when I write these tests to do things like that, I want to just double check at this point that every line of code makes sense. So the name publish filter change, that makes sense to me. The fact that it accepts a filter value that's a string, that totally makes sense to me. The fact that it sets a filter value in a signal makes sense to me. Filter value is a signal. This filter value, so it just sets it, so it publishes. I wish they'd have called this publish instead of filter, and then it just returns a true. That's what we're doing now. I don't see any reason not to. So anyway, so we need to create a brand new spec function. So that is the way you do that is you say it, and I have no idea why it always wants to go to this. And then it should publish filter changes. Filter changes. That's what it should do. That's the attention. And then we want to call service. We want to take we know we're going to get a boolean back, const. We know we're going to get true back, const result. And that is equal to service dot publish filter change. And then it's kind of wild that I don't. Oh, I get. No, you could type whatever you want in there, huh? So let's say AAA, and then expect. Oh. And result to be true. Let's see what's going on here. What's going on here? I should have paid attention again, but I didn't. It looks like we have 4 functions that were uncovered. Now what do we have? 3 functions that are uncovered, and we are down to everything's a plus 99%. So I think this one will be 100 now. Boom, booyah! I've worked at places before. Well, actually, I've only worked at one place. Oh, there's 2 files that are problematic. Oh, I don't think this is right. Every once in a while, you'll get like what? Shoot. I'm going to hit refresh and try it again, because I felt like we only had 2 files before. I have worked at a few places. Well, one place where 2 places actually, where computer programmers just hated coding. Like I had never really met people who had no passion or desire to code until and it's only been in a few places. And you got to, if you're gonna code, you got to like code on your own time, doing your own stuff, and enjoy it, and like really force yourself to enjoy it, because if you associate negativity to coding every single time, and so like the two places had the same thing in common, that that where people just hated coding, and that was like you would write some code and then you'd have to wait a minute or two for it to compile, and then you could try your results. Like that will just make you insane. That is one of the most difficult things to deal with mentally. So it's so important. And then being able to say what code does is not guaranteed. Like we all think it is, right? Like most people think that, oh, if I write some code, then it can be explained with words. And that is not true. That you can write code that there is no English linguistic equivalent to it. You really can. I've seen people have like one line of code, and I'm like, oh, where does this line go? And they're literally talking like 10 minutes later. They're still explaining what that one line of code does. And it's just because our language, our human English language is not nearly as powerful in some ways as coding language. And I mean, the human spoken language is way more powerful than coding language, especially because the computers that process it are way more powerful than these computers. Like I work in legislation, like that's my domain. And in my domain, we basically write, or we don't, but I support the people that write code for human beings. And they'll write like a law. It'll be like, this law says that everybody has to do X, Y, Z, and blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes they roll that law out, and it becomes very obvious that that law is not going to work. Like, they put it out there, and then nobody does it. And they just kind of have to back out. Happens all the time. All right, so I have two functions here. Is that right? Two functions. Okay, so menu changes and apply user filter. And this is weird because apply user filter does not appear to do anything. All right, like all this does is, oh, okay. Yeah, that can go away. See, I would actually gave myself a note to create a service. And this is the piece of the puzzle that I don't have an answer for like, if I don't do unit tests, I typically won't catch something like this. And then, you sort of really have to depend on your teammates and stuff to catch these things during the PR. And that's no fun. But I always try to think this, and I'm not always successful at thinking this, but I always try to think the better code I deliver to a good PR reviewer, then I can't write perfect code. So they can find improvements, and then if they find improvements, I can do better. And that's awesome. And that's ideal, and that's what everybody wants. The sad part is that it just isn't true that they necessarily will make your code better. Sometimes they actually make the code worse. And the thing is like a lot of just the absolute worst, and I don't work with anyone like this right now, but the worst PR people are the ones that like it's working perfect when you get it to them, and then they keep making you change it, and making you change it, and then by the time you're done doing the changes, it doesn't work anymore. And it's almost impossible to redeem it at that point. So, and it's very difficult to point it out. Now, one thing I've noticed helps a lot with PRs is when you do your commits, if in the commit message you say this was a PR fix, PR fix, PR fix, that really helps a lot. A lot of times they'll try to outlaw it because it's just not comfortable for the leadership. But what's usually not comfortable for the middle managers to see, oh my gosh, look at all these commits that happened over like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and there are all these PR fixes and all that, especially if you've demoed it working, and then by the time it gets through that whole thing, it's not working anymore. All right, so this one, it looks like we just need to send it a routing layout type, and it's just going to do everything. And this line 40 looks good. Menu changed. It's probably not perfect, but because this is our, what is this? This is our entity filter. So it's like, yeah, in the context it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of interesting because it looks like it never gets called. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Alright, so I'm going to, this is our entity filter component. Let's go into its, and menu changes on line 38. So spec should handle menu changes. Handle menu changes. Equals, and I'll tell you though, there's never like unit tests. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Oh, I forgot to give Red her nut. You want your nut? There you go. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. So unit tests are great for programmers. If you're a software developer and you want to be a software developer and you want to get better, because what happens is when you code for a while, eventually you sort of just hit a brick wall and you just can't get better, and everything you try to do sort of is just like a lateral move. You don't ever improve. My granddaughter is not happy at the moment. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Actually, I'll be interested on playback if I can hear her yelling or not. But anyways, unit tests are amazing for developers. If you want to get better, like unit tests will put you into like these sort of iteration improvement doom loops where like every time you go through you can find something better to do, and then you can learn all about it and you can get really, really good and get a deep understanding, and then rinse and repeat. You just keep doing it over and over again, and the project just never gets done. But man, do the developers get better at their skill. And it's just kind of like one of those things, like I don't think it's the job of the organization to make you better at your skill. It's the job of the organization to pay you and give you work, to give you productive work to do. And that's not as easy as it sounds, so const result. I don't really like that word result. I just can't, at the moment, I can't come up with a better way to do it. So this one's a component. So I've just sort of muscle memoried and just remembered, oh yeah, up top they declared a component. See up here we declared and assign it. We could have named that anything, or just about anything. And then menu changed. And then I guess we'll do that. It has to be a routing layout type. Oh, blank is a routing layout type. So, and then I don't even know what this returns. Set routing detail. Probably, I bet you that just returns a true. And that's in our service, in our current routing service. Probably the easiest way to get to that will be to click here on this, And then we can go to definition. Yeah, see, this just returns a true, so we just expect it to be true. And honestly, if it doesn't return, I mean, in the future, um, if we change anything, it will break in here, which will be, I think, a good thing. And I could just like come up with some sort of logic that seems clever and all that in there, but I really do think that would result in me being painted into a corner in the future. I have no idea how I want to what means what true and false means and all that at this point in these contexts. All right, so with any luck, we'll be at 100% at the end of this one. No. Is it back to that? Is it? So this is 100%. I would say this is probably like the number one sort of knock on Jasmine Karma. It just isn't necessarily consistent. Yeah, see, now we're at 100%. And so, to me, if I was working at a place and we had to have coverage and all that, this would make me very nervous because that was a bit of an indicator that we've got some sort of like coding issue for unit tests where, depending on how it's run, it may or may not pass. So that, I think what happened was we saved it, and then however it decides to do updates is different than if you refresh. If you just do a hard refresh, then and all that. And so I would think that in CI/CD, when this went out, if it was demanding 100% in the CI/CD gates, they call them gates, then you would probably have to I don't know, it may or may not go 100% because that's going to be the way that would run be a little bit different. I think that's the root cause. In those cases where just so you know, in those cases where that has been an issue, where we had like test coverage but the gates just weren't passing, even though you could run the unit tests and all that, we ended up having to resort to having to do a screenshot of the 100%. So like you would have like in the screenshot you would have the branch and this, and then they would just take our word for it that it's the 100%. I mean, they sort of have to just take your word for it that you did the right screenshot. But I was assuming that was the main thing that they were trying to fix with VITE, and maybe it is. But anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.